Call this meeting to order at 6:01 PM. Welcome, everyone. We can start by the pledge. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We do have a quorum. Sorry, that says I'll be online, but I'm not gonna be online. Got to take that off. Verification of posting, Jackie, you were,
Yes, I put it at the post office, the grocery store, and on our front door.
thank you. Any guest comments?
No, nothing at the moment.
Nothing from you, Jane, or any, or Carolyn, okay. Zoom, anybody on Zoom?
No.
Okay. Any correspondence to the board this month?
Did we approve the agenda?
Oh, sorry, did we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
And second, David, all those in favor say aye.
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 The agenda is approved. Guest comments, we got correspondence, no approval of the minutes.
There was no correspondence? No.
No, there was no correspondence.
Okay.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes as presented. I'll second.
And we have a second. Motion by Wendy, second by Jan, all those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, good. Thank you. I don't have a lot for the president's report. I will take some of my comments on some of the items that we have to discuss tonight. Friends of the library.
A successful sale, we raised $900.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah, the most ever,
Really?
yes. Thanks to, I don't know, holding it perhaps on the right weekend with all the other.
The garage
yard
sale?
sales. Yeah, this woman in Bookman bought nearly $150 worth. So,
Oh, really? Did he?
Richard
Great Hall?
yeah.
Yeah. Who is
Yeah.
the Shawamigan book man? What is he
books
doing?
in Washburn.
Oh, we
Oh,
have,
the
yeah,
bookstores.
yes,
One of those
he
beautiful
shows up first thing.
Shawamigan.
Along with one other woman who collects books for her family for the summer and the fall.
Okay.
And, but we.
Oh, I
yeah,
didn't know
we
he
were
came to
short-
this.
Short of people, but it made it work, so.
Abby was out garage selling this weekend and she said she overheard several conversations, people planning their routes. And it always included somewhere along the way, stopping at the book sale.
Okay.
So it was, it was uppermost in people's minds.
Yes.
Note to self.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
that's
good
like
weekend to do it.
And fortunately, because of the wind, we didn't put up canopies.
Right.
It saved us some time, but we had just enough volunteers. And to save some of our backs anyway, so reduced our volume of books in the basement, but yeah, successful sale.
Yeah,
Thank
fortunate
you.
that the weather held out. That was nice. I mean, it was a nice day, other than the wind, but.
Yeah.
Wow,
Well done.
that's great.
Start planning for the next.
Yeah, yeah. That's great. Secretary report,
I have nothing to report.
thank you. And treasurer report,
Well, I unfortunately don't have a report. My battery backup died on my computer and I
Oh.
couldn't get it out of there. And I haven't gotten it switched over, but I can tell you that I have the bank statement with me and the bank statement matches exactly what Jackie shows on her bills to the board, May 1st through May 31st. I can email that because I expect I'll get my battery backup going tomorrow and I can get back in there and get it. But all of the expenditures balanced, all the deposits balanced with what, from the statement to here, and that's all that I ever supply anyway. As far as that goes.
great. And
So
Bill-
there's
yeah, go
there's no actual official report.
No,
We had this just a couple of months ago, we deferred them to approve it at our next meeting. Is that how we do it?
Oh, we did do that,
We did
yes,
so.
And then we did.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah,
so
so.
approval can be
Do that
deferred
again.
until
Yeah,
next month.
Can
right?
we still approve the bills to the board?
Yep,
Yeah, I think we probably
we
should.
can.
I'd make a motion to approve the bills to the board.
Is there a second?
I'd second it.
And we have a second by Wendy. Any questions or comments about the bills to the board?
No, it's just the usual stuff, materials and, nothing too extraordinary.
And the Dahlberg hookup.
Yes, we did,
Said that.
that was, a lot of times when we pay bills or they will allow us to sort of float us a loan so that we can pay, have it approved and then paid for at the later date. They wanted the money up front in order to hook up the electricity, so that's.
Is
what-
that the whole amount?
Yes, that should be the
It
full
wasn't
thing.
like half and then.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've got two of our three 2026 Building Stronger Libraries things done. The electrical from Cameron Gray is amongst the bills too. So once that, those two are paid, I can submit them to the county and get those. Some of that funding, but also then I have to wait for just getting the modem and such ready for the Wi-Fi out there yet. But I don't think that would be too much.
Great. All those in favor of approving the bills to the board, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, thanks. Bills to the board. Is a vote. Jackie,
Okay, summer reading has officially begun this week, but we always have early starters, so we've got about 20 people signed up. I didn't get a chance to look today to see what the total of minutes were, but I'm shooting for all ages to have 50,000 minutes read by the end of summer. So we're gonna cross our fingers that we get somewhat close to that. So, but we have quite a range of adult, young adult, and children that are participating already. So I'm excited about that. We're getting word out with every person that comes in too. Tomorrow is our first program that we're gonna have for summer reading. Matt Ladwig, the police chief here in town, he's swinging by to read to the kids. I did my due diligence and gave him his reminder today. So hopefully, I might give it to him again tomorrow, just to be on the safe side. But he's coming and then he'll be here at 10 to about 10:30 reading to the kids. And then at 10:30, Calamity the dog is coming. She and her master will be out on the couch, allowing kids to read to her as well. Normally we have her back here, but there is an economic development meeting back here, so she's gonna be on full display out in the children's department. So hopefully we'll have a lot of takers on that one. I did talk to Eric in regards to the digital navigation. Do we have it on the agenda? I can't remember. Yeah, we do. I guess I'll wait with that one to make set up. And then the fair, we've got everything set up. We've talked to David Eads of Bayfield County. We think we've got it all set up and we've given each of the libraries in Bayfield County, in addition to Red Cliff, I don't know how many pounds of air drying clay, and they're all gonna make some sort of you have their little people make some sort of a dinosaur. So I didn't specify anything beyond that, so if someone
That's
gets
good.
really creative,
Yeah.
they can,
Use their imagination.
Yeah.
yes.
So they all look the same at the fair.
Well, that's just it, so, and hopefully they'll pull out colors and everything else, so kids can add their own special branding to it as well, so. We did let them know that we're, shooting for 5 through 8-year-olds because that's the Cloverbud sector. It gets quite technical after that, because when they turn 9 in January of 2026. Technically, they are moved up a category to the next level of arts, which is more demanding, not demanding, but more specified, a little more stringent in placement. However, if they're 9 years old and they haven't been in a Cloverbud, then they're supposed to be in the Cloverbuds. So David is like, I don't know how I'm supposed to figure that out, but that's kind of the tentative plan
right.
for going to working on the Culpeper sector of the fair. So we're getting excited because we're gonna have our art project day on the 16th of July.
Oh, good.
People come in, get their deck, make their dinosaur, and they would get them registered. All registrations had to be in by the 24th of July. So,
What time on the 16th of July? Are you-
I believe we're right at 10 o'clock. We're gonna have this room all set up, so it'll be open all day. People can kind of come and go as needed to make their dinosaur with the clay and however they want to go about it. So. And I did mention that to all the school kids, even.
Will there be images, like books or anything for them to look at, or that?
We could probably do that too, just give them some ideas,
Some
that would be a
ideas,
thought too,
things.
yeah. I did mention it at NES, which has some kids from Bayfield County and Douglas County in it. And David, didn't seem to be too concerned if they have a Douglas County address, as long as it's a Wisconsin address.
Exactly.
Is kind
Wisconsin.
of what we have to
Yep.
shoot for.
Yeah.
So he was,
You can enter things from other
yes,
counties,
so
that's pretty
we'll
nice.
see how it all
Yeah.
goes.
What was the date again?
July 16th. It should be a Thursday. And it'll be all day, but we're gonna start right at 10 o'clock. So that's kind of what we have going on right now at the library.
Great, thanks. And that's really that next topic as well, so I think we can move on from that old business, because we were just talking about that, so that's really great. Thank you for taking the initiative on that from Iron River being sponsoring that and making it happen. Great. Use of space policy, that's really do you want to just talk about that a little bit? We had the policy.
Yes, we had the policy
Last meeting.
specifically for the conference room here. However, now with the job pod, we edited it a little bit to include the word meeting rooms.
Right.
Or pluralizing things. But the main thing is, it follows pretty much the same category as this room, where, there's no alcohol, no foodstuffs in that one. This one, we do have allow that. But we're 18 and over is what we use this room for, and the plan is to have that job pod for 18 and over too. I do currently have some young people going in, but I said I don't have a policy yet for 18 and over, so you are able to sneak in there right now, but be rest assured that 18 and over will be starting to be implemented down once we get this approved. But that be about the only two things that were really changed a little bit because of the wording for the 18 and over.
We got the new language at the last meeting, right?
Yeah, you received it at the last
Yeah.
We
meeting.
just
Okay.
didn't vote on it.
Yeah,
Right, because
it was
we just got.
the
Yeah,
first
just
time I
got-
saw
yeah.
it, so. Yeah.
Any questions about that?
As far as 18 or 16 years old, I thought there was language in there that said at the librarian's discretion.
Yes, because we have some people coming in and they're like wanting to do a test or something, and I base it upon what they're actually doing. And I mean, if we know them and we know that they are a very serious, responsible person, more apt to allow that to be, and especially even with the job pod too, because if you're going in there to actually apply for a job, I mean, 16-year-olds can apply for jobs, so we want to make sure we have that extended to job. And I actually had a 14 or 15-year-old child get a work permit information, so it technically could go later or younger if need be. But yeah, we just say, if we could just say at the discretion of the.
And that's what it says.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Which is a good idea. Okay, would there be a motion to approve the?
I would make a
job pod?
motion to approve the use of space policy.
There a second?
Second,
We have a second with David. Any other discussion on that? All those in favor of approving the policy for use of space, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, great. we haven't had a new policy for a while.
No, we've been kind of, but soon we'll have to just go
We have to.
go through them and verify they're at what we want.
Very good point.
Mhm.
That's been a year or so since we've looked at policies, so,
Mhm.
good point. Julinda just mentioned the July 3rd closing.
Oh, yes, July 3rd is the day before the 4th, of course, and Northern Waters is closed, there will be no delivery. In the past, when we've had work time before or after a holiday, Candace has always been wanting to work it, which she liked to do that because she had nothing else specifically going on. Right now, July 3rd, I will be working by myself because both Abby and Ann need to have the day off, so. I mean, I can be here, I have nothing going on that weekend, so it can be done if the board feels the need for the library to be open. Candace did always feel that people come up for the 4th of July, and if they wanna pop in and get a book or a movie for their week or time when they're here, that we be open for that purpose. So I'm on the fence either way, there just won't be any delivery, and Northern Waters will not be open at all either.
So just a question about that, Candace felt like it was necessary, but do we have any historical information about, was it 3 people that came in during the day, or was it
She was usually fairly
20
busy.
people?
Yeah, I don't think she kept track of who, regular patrons and visitors, but she usually had a pretty steady crew. I mean, not to the point where, having more than one person here is needed.
Right,
But, and especially on Saturday, people are pretty, and a holiday of weekend, they're pretty relaxed and are patient if there's a few bodies here.
oh, yeah,
Yeah, they're usually good to go with that.
And the library will be closed on Saturday and Sunday the 4th.
Yeah, the closed on Saturday. What I went by too is when I first started here, the library board at the time told me to follow, and so did the town board, to follow Bayfield County recommendations for days to be closed. Well, when Bayfield County has a holiday on a Saturday, they have the Friday off. If they have the holiday falls on a Sunday, then they have Monday off. So that's what I was basing it on, whether we should have the 3rd closed or not.
well, my gut says if we get enough business and you don't mind working, we should be open. But if you mind working,
No, I don't, like I said, the weekend before I'm going down to see my grandson, so I won't be going down that weekend, so I'll be hanging around here, so.
Any other thoughts? I think that's nice of you to do that. I think it's great to serve people who wanna come for the weekend.
I agree, it's been fairly busy, it's nice to be open, and if it's no inconvenience.
Yeah,
I
this
think we
week,
should.
this summer it isn't, so.
Great. Thanks. Narcan access.
Okay, I had heard through a listserv that Madison, somewhere in Madison, they were giving away Narcan boxes, so you can store Narcan in it and have it available for people if they're in an emergency situation. I know they have it down at the other end of town in the vending machine, but I
Yeah.
thought it'd be nice to have something on this end. Come to find out, after I get it and bring it here, it has to be kept between 77 degrees and 36 degrees. So it has to be inside. So the question is, when we first opened the doors, there was a door between the entryway and the main library. We don't have that particular door anymore, but we have the door from the closet that could be put in place, that we could lock up the main library and leave the entryway open for access to Narcan and, to posters.
Yeah, brochures and that kind of thing.
Yes, so that if the board thinks that would be a good idea, I could look into, because the screw plates aren't there anymore, but the indention where the plates were for the hinges are there yet, so from the way Abby talked, she said it would be pretty easy to put the door back in place or a door in place if we so choose to do that.
So it would be putting the Narcan in the vestibule
Yeah, it'd be,
and replacing the door and lock.
yeah.
I'm just, how did this arise? Has there been an issue?
No, but I feel like, more access to this. I always wanted to have some in the building just in case something happens. But then this Narcan box came up. I thought, okay, well, I can just put it outside. Well, no, I can't put it outside. So that's why if the board doesn't want to do that, I can make sure it goes back to and find a home somewhere else too, so.
And that,
I mean, the concern is that we do have the vending machine, that the health department has been working on this for a long time, finally got it installed here, and I remember. It's a source,
Mhm.
it's in a space that's close to,
Please.
police and where there could be an issue, I mean, where they could get help. To me, it feels like we've got children here, I'm not sure. I'm not against Narcan as a useful tool to address a real problem, but I'm a little conflicted about it here. In the library where the public is coming through and going through. I could see if you wanted to keep some in the staff fridge in case something happened here in the library, when the library is open and you could help. Or you could just call 911 too and have somebody come and deal with it. I don't know, I'm conflicted about it.
The more places, the public health policy should be, the more places you have it, the better.
More what?
The more places you have it, the better, because time is really critical. And
Right.
even to get it from the other end of town down to here might be too long.
Mhm.
It needs, it's really time critical. And so what was the discussion at the board level? Were they concerned people would take it and abuse it or just vandalize it or?
Oh, if it's in the entryway?
This is the
Pardon?
first I've heard of this here. This is the
no,
first
yeah,
I've heard of this here.
you mean the board, which board?
The county board.
Oh.
You
The
said,
health,
Oh, the health.
committee.
The health
The health
department put
committee.
those in.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Machines.
Got a big grant to do this, to put these vending machines around the county.
Okay,
And Iron River was selected, and there's one at Red Cliff, and there's one at
Okay,
the
okay, I misunderstood.
courthouse in the health annex, health department annex. So there's these locations where, and people are using the machines, they're using the machines, so
That's good.
it's successful at this point in time.
so, so I think the sounds like the board was being admirably cautious, but I'm not sure we need to be that cautious. Are people taking it from the vending machines to keep it at home? Or to keep
It's
it
just
for
there for
friends?
people to access if they need it, or for,
There are a whole bunch of things in that machine.
there's a bunch of different things.
There's tickets and.
But I mean, if I lived in an apartment complex and thought, gee, this would be a good thing to have, I could go to that machine and get the Narcan and just keep it in my apartment?
It's free.
You can have, yep, it's free, you can go and it's funded by grants. I'm just not sure we need to be in the business of doing it, but that's just one person, that's just me. Yeah.
Has the door ever been locked before? Has that ever been open to the public 24/7
No,
before?
no, it was, we'd always had it. It was decided early on to just remove the door, to just have that as a walkway and.
I also, well.
I really like the
I
idea of
just think for
having,
building security as well, I don't know. Um,
I really like the idea of having Narcan here in this end of town.
yeah,
And close to other businesses and other things like that.
Mhm.
I'm not sure how critical it is to have it available to the public when the library isn't open.
Mhm.
I mean, having it here in the library during hours that it's open with staff here that can call 911 if they need to.
And get it out of the fridge.
Because if people decide that they want it and don't want to go to the vending machine, they'll just come in and take the one from the library. And then what do we do? How do we replace that?
Yeah, they're gonna have to replace them.
Yeah, so I think keeping it here in the library during the library hours that are open, is better than not having it.
Okay. But then I will find a place in the building then to put it up.
Yeah, behind the,
Right, yeah.
behind the counter, so that, yeah.
In the workroom.
and let's hope we never need it,
That's my hope.
but
No. But yeah, I mean, my plan was to always have a box here just to be on the safe side. But then this came up, so we can just make sure we have it here and it'll be in that, so it'll be easy to find. We can put it over by the AED machine if nobody bothers the AED machine either, so.
Well, that's a good place for it.
Yeah, so it'd be.
This is the intranasal spray.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. Jan looks like she's still digesting this.
Yeah, I'm always thinking of possible negatives. I'm always sort of thinking of the, you know, expectations then or whatever, and just for debating sake, or just for, further deeper conversation. Making sure we're making the right decision about something. Do we have a defibrillator at the premises?
Yeah.
We have the
AED.
At what point do we stop providing like
Oh.
emergency medical services? If,
Mhm.
is that the business we're in now as a library? And that's, I'm not asking it to be contentious, I'm just asking it to open up our minds about what do we.
I think any place of public access, in an ideal world, there would be Narcan there and an AED.
Mhm.
In the grocery store, in the bars, it should be as widely distributed as possible. And it's easy for us to do, I think. But that's why we have these discussions, because I didn't think of those things.
And I feel like having it be maybe
And the training.
behind the counter or in the refrigerator or something available so that you all, the staff knows, so if somebody comes in, then you know where it is,
Mhm.
you know how to, and you know what it is, you know that it's available, you can tell people, yes. Go get it, just like the AED.
Okay.
I'm just wondering about the safety of people in the library and the staff of the library. That's another question. Someone comes in and when,
They're unconscious, they're not much.
so is somebody coming to get it quickly for someone else? It's typically.
For some, yes, yes. If the person needs it, they're not gonna be
They're
able,
not-
they can't get it themselves. They're unconscious. So I suppose there's a theoretical risk that somebody realized they'd OD'd and makes it up the steps and through the door and collapses. But
Yeah.
they're still better off than if they hadn't gotten that close.
As long as the library is open.
Right.
But
That's a
I
disadvantage
think
of
it, as a town, the whole town needs to get on board with it, kind of like what you were saying.
Yeah, I didn't know about the vending machine. Has there been
Yeah,
any
and this is
education about
something-
that?
Because the library is part of the town, this is something that needs to be run by the town.
Okay, I can run it by them and see.
I mean, just to make sure that we're covering all of our bases in terms of liability or whatever it is that we need to be.
Yeah, I didn't know a thing about the vending machines
Mhm.
either, so that's kind of a shock to me.
Yeah,
And, I mean, I don't think I'll ever really have a need for it, but I hope the people
It's
that.
not you, it's somebody that you come across.
Yeah,
right.
right,
right.
but, and that's what I mean, I hope that somebody that people know more than me, because I didn't know it existed. And I think I'm pretty smart.
I think that's some advertising for that, because there are a lot of different things in that machine.
Yeah.
That are helpful to people, you
Mhm.
know,
What kind of things?
well, they have like
Off
a,
topic, I'm sorry.
like tick kits and,
They have-
they do tick testing kit and
They had COVID.
something
tests
else.
in there too.
Yeah, there were some COVID.
COVID, yeah, there were COVID tests in there.
Narcan, I'm trying to think of the list now, it's been so long since we've talking about it at the health committee meetings.
Yeah.
But yeah, people are, at least I know that they're being used,
Yeah, that's good. I think this board is able to decide this without asking the town, but if there's concern about liability issues and you want to do that, that's fine.
I'm for, I think it's, we're checking with them, but I feel comfortable having it behind and that you guys have it available.
Okay.
But
So
I
you-
don't know how we're
So you're
doing.
saying we should still go to the liability, check with the town?
Yeah, I think that's always.
And how did you say you're gonna keep it at the right temperature?
It has to be between 77 and 36.
So room
Okay,
temperature.
So, you know,
Room
about
temperature.
40 feet.
Refrigerator.
No, room temperature.
Yeah, 77.
Just room temperature.
Yeah, room temperature.
And 30.
So it could be out
36
someplace.
to 77.
area for my
Yeah,
canines.
just can't freak.
I have it all the time, so. Room temperature for canine searching, so. Okay, are we comfortable? I don't know if we really need to act on that necessarily, unless you all feel that we need to.
No, I'll just put in the minutes that you're gonna check with the town board
Yeah, I
regarding
will check with
liability
town
issues.
board.
and-
Any other issue that,
Yeah, see if there's
They
anything
might-
else they can see that would be an issue.
Mhm. Thanks.
okay, great,
That should go on the agenda for next month then?
yes,
Yeah, okay.
okay, so an update on the we discussed this last time for the digital navigator grant and so on. So, just a couple quick things. Overall, so the Northwest Wisconsin Workforce Investment Board are the people, the staff there, the people that got the grant that made this happen. The PSC grant, which does end October 31st, just as a review. And those folks, so I had a good discussion with them about this. And just to overall say, it's most likely not gonna happen. They're working on grants to be writing grants for this and other projects, but they just like the biggest comment that came from them is that it's really hard right now to get grants for general operating money. And so getting equipment, which by the way, we have.
Yes.
I mean, the whole project has equipment obviously tied to it with computers for people and so on. That's easier. Although they don't really even have any grant to continue that kind of funding, but. My explanation was that this grant it is people, like it is general fund, like. Just my own observation is like 80 to 90% of this is the people like Eric, who like people who help other people, so. And they were saying like, yeah, it's true, but it's just hard to get funding for that, so it's not looking that hopeful, so. I bring that up now, even though, we were talking about this even though it's June, but. It's not that many months away that's going to end, so I think that would be good to be. For us, I think one of the encouragement to us was to. Try to figure it out and be creative about it, because it's true for the whole, our county, and this grant is for multiple counties, but it all ends. So also just a couple of comments from Mark at the county, who has been responsible, really a driver for this and has helped a lot. So, yeah, so it ends on the 31st, in the equipment and the laptops will need to be distributed then and figured out. From the grant, because that doesn't go back to somebody, that's to be distributed. So they're working on that, and the county is working on finding ways to continue the program. But I'm just saying it's not that hopeful. I think it's a challenge to add more budget items to the county, like that would be. I don't think that's impossible, but some of the library budget from the county, I think that's just a decision for the library board, the county library board and everybody, but I think additional. Grant funding from the county, just in my opinion, is not super likely.
So that's
But-
for our information, but they are considering it.
Yeah,
They're
well,
still
I think
discussing it.
Mark is really, trying to figure it out, but the people that have been working on this, which they've done a great job, and. It's a really good project, and everybody agrees that it's a good project,
It's been very
especially.
successful, especially
Especially for us, and the people there know that too. So one of the things that, and I think I mentioned this at the last month, but another thing that, a couple things that Mark was suggesting is that we agree to, one possibility is we could agree to take and oversee the remaining equipment. And I don't know if he just means ours or everyone's, I'm not sure what that means, but and then we could just oversee the checkouts and stuff just to continue on checking out equipment. So that's one thing. And then consider our own funding of the digital navigator program.
How much would that, any idea how much that is?
Yes,
He makes,
we do know, you know,
yes, I asked, he makes about $25 an hour. So if, even if, so if we could come up with, $100 every other week. That would be something that we could put towards him. I asked if he had, if he did his own job of being a tech for hire, so to speak. If he would have insurance and such, because right now he has insurance and other benefits through the program. And he did say that his partner does work for the US Forest Service. And that if push comes to shove, they could get married, so he'd have access to insurance if he needed to. But he said he would be like starting his own business type of thing. He does have a sister that is very business minded who could help him set that all up if he and the libraries felt we had enough people to contract with him.
2,400 a year or something, no, what is that? Be 100 every 100 every 2 weeks, so 200 a month. So 2,400
For a year?
Yeah,
per year to have the digital navigator program here.
well, I mean,
You-
we'd have him, right now we have him for 6 hours a day, every week. Because Drummond didn't work out, no one was coming, so he moved one of his days here. So my thought was we wouldn't have to have him for 6 hours both days, but if we could have him for 2 days a week, at 3 hours a piece. That would be $150 a month. That we would look at.
so are you saying also that then he would be thinking about if all the libraries or more libraries to pile together more things than us to make, for example, a whole job, is that what he's?
Yeah, that, and then
Talking about?
he could, sell his services to be a home tech person, where he'd go to people's homes and work on their tech there as well. So that could hopefully supplement anything that the libraries would do also, so. It's kind of, and I mean, he could go into, there's a different counterpart of his that does Ashland, Sawyer, and Iron, I think it is.
I think it's Iron County.
Yeah, so I don't know if those three counties are gonna be able to band together to keep their individual or not. Otherwise, Eric could go get more job opportunities in Ashland also. That would be, because we're fairly close to Ashland as a county. So,
Okay,
And all he does is support the people. He doesn't fix their equipment or anything like that.
well, he doesn't, but someone came in and said, my computer is dead. If Eric can't resurrect it, I have to go buy a new one. And Eric somehow resurrected it. So I can't say he doesn't fix things, but I
But
don't
we
know if
wouldn't need to supply any equipment or anything.
No, I think, we would have all the equipment already just
Okay.
because we have these
Have
laptops
the
and
one.
such, so.
So it'd be basically like hiring him as a consultant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
it'd be
what I
more or
was
less a
thinking.
consultancy.
so one thing to move forward as well as, I guess we'll hear more from Mark at the county about maybe where they're going, and I have another call into him just to check on, we see him regularly, so we'll just check on, is there anything new over the next month or two that we should know about? So we'll get back to that, get back to everybody on, and also, it seems like we should be talking about this at the county library board too, like to see what other people are thinking, in our county at least.
Right, yeah, cause
So I don't know if we have one this summer. Do we have a meeting, a county library meeting?
in July, when the Building Stronger Libraries grants are due, there will be a meeting soon thereafter. I wanna say August or September. But that is getting pretty close to the end of the deal.
And when do we do our budget?
Our budget is, they want it done by November, so late September, October.
Okay.
The other, the other option would be, but, is to hire him as part of the library, but, you know, as a library worker, so he'd be working as a tech person, you know, so many hours a week, and then but then that would be a discrepancy in wages, because at working here at the library, he shouldn't be getting more than what our current staff has, so that's the only other thing I could think of that would be able to move that forward.
Any other thoughts or ideas from people? Just to,
It looks like the library board meeting is August, or library committee, it's August 11th,
August 11th.
4 o'clock.
Yeah, I know, because at the end of the July is when the applications are due, and I know it. Soon thereafter, they have that, so I know that down here, August.
Is it called a library committee or library board?
the county library committee.
Committee, okay. I'm just gonna put in the minutes that it's still being discussed, but there's a good likelihood it won't be extended and that we discussed options.
Yes, and I would like to also say, if people are interested in having our working group, which Jane is our fearless leader, for which is part, which tonight we'll obviously talk about maybe a little more about with the volunteer coordinator type stuff, but also kind of fundraising. It could be a topic that the board could throw to our group to think about how to fund, like, one of the things is to think about what are the things that are needed over the next year or 2 year. Obviously, we all know the one giant one that we're talking about, but if there are other things that we need to find resources or money for, then we have this sort of working group that could work on that, so if that makes sense. So if we have a plan and say, oh, we'd like to fund him but we'd like to use, you know, where might we get the funds or something? That could, we have like a little working group that could work on that, which is nice. So if you're interested in that, we could take that up as a topic. Any thoughts about that? I guess maybe we should think about what we're doing first and what might be a plan to be able to continue the tech support for the community. Really what we're talking about.
It's still being utilized pretty heavily.
Well, the last week or so it hasn't been, but I think everyone is just so tired of the cooler weather that was warm and they were all outside enjoying it rather than coming in here to see Eric.
Okay. Anything else on that? Anybody?
No.
Okay, building stronger libraries grant.
Well, we were discussing at Carriage House, what the next steps are for across the way with the Carriage House and the property. And this is an opportunity for us to ask for grant funds for another level of upkeep across the street. However, I feel like that should be something the board wants to cover and think about how they want that initial funding request going through. Because there's a finite amount of money that's over and above what they pay the libraries for services. Is anyone familiar with what the Building Stronger Libraries is, Grant?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay,
But we
I'll
have,
just give you right up. The county pays for us to provide services to people that don't live in Iron River Township. They pay us back after that at 70%, not 100%, but 70%. What this county does for the other 30% is they offer grants that are like capital grants for each library to apply for that's what's going to be due at the end of July. And now in the past, I've always asked for like we have the fence, the roof, the electricity and all that came from that. Now, as we move forward, the projects that are coming up are a little bigger. And one of the things that the county does allow is after all the other libraries receive whatever they've requested, whatever funds are left over from that 30% can be asked for a specific project. Like Cable did that to put towards their building project. Bayfield did that when they were doing the tuck pointing on their, no, not the tuck pointing, when they were working on restoration of their columns at, because that was going to be much bigger cost than what that funding could provide, but it went to assist that library in that purpose. So that would be the other thing, is if we would want to request any additional funds that are left over to be put towards, you know, the foundation of this building. Be something too. So that's what I wanted to ask the board and see if that's what they would like me to ask for, or if there's something specific they would prefer to be on that request.
Well, obviously,
Foundation, please.
obviously, I'm in favor of that. My only hesitation after we had our meeting was I don't want to be stepping on the other working group's toes because fundraising was in your bailiwick.
But this is
And-
for capital projects.
We're all on the same.
No, I know, but
same team.
it
Yeah,
just occurred to me that, oh yeah, well, we're gonna ask them for this.
No, right,
Okay.
we're all asking. For
Okay.
the project, and that's just, we just talk about who's doing what. And that, then that just be just common sense and. Logic, so we, right at this point, we don't have anything even. We haven't asked for anything specifically yet for this grant, right?
Not yet,
Not yet,
but I'll have to be right in.
not
about
just the
next-
extra, but we haven't asked
Yeah, the next
Okay,
3 or 4
sorry.
weeks.
next 3 or 4 weeks. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna talk about that in a minute here.
Mhm.
Where,
Mhm.
what you guys are thinking and. I mean, I guess we could just move into that, if that makes sense.
Well, under this item, I could make a motion.
Yeah.
That we ask the library director to proceed with a request for the Building Stronger Libraries program for funding for the foundation.
That,
Okay.
anything left over after the other libraries have had their request, that it comes to us for a foundation for that. Okay.
We have is that a motion?
Yes.
Do we have a second? We have a second on that with Jan. Any other discussion? About that? And maybe some discussion will happen in our next item here, but. All those in favor of using the Building Stronger Libraries grant for foundation, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries, that's good. What,
I think-
roughly speaking, would that be?
What?
What, if you had to guess, we don't know, of course, what everybody's requesting, but like, what kind of money are we talking about generally? I think we talked about this last month, but.
Yeah, I haven't looked specifically, but it's usually, you know, gosh, around 30 to 40,000. And that's, you know, for all 5 libraries. Some libraries, they don't put in a request for those funds every year, like I've been doing. They, you know, they take a year off, so to speak. And then, but each library has the opportunity to do that. And I have not called around to see if any of the other libraries are requesting money. I will say the last couple years, the funding, that 30% went to some of their budgets. Because of the way the budgets are set up, they're, you know, they don't always have the same amount of funding every year, because it's all based on the number of things that get checked out. And if the number of checkouts is lower one year than previous years, their funding goes down. And sometimes that funding goes down to the point where they're much less than they were the previous year. So they then use this Building Stronger Libraries money to bump up their budget to keep it even with what it was in the past. Iron River hasn't had to do that. I have agreed with the process to be done for other libraries when they had shortfalls. So, I feel like because of that, I'm hoping that then they would see that I did them a service, so they will hopefully allow me to, ask for these funds, whatever's left to go for this.
You're a real politician.
That's really. You should run for something. But, and then do you all just talk about this and agree amongst yourselves? Or does somebody at the county decide, okay, I see all these proposals? Or do you just all hash it out at this?
Well, I write, like, when I had asked for the roof and the fence, that was like $21,000. I had called around at that point to make sure no one else's project was that big. So that I wasn't asking over and above what I had the right to ask.
I see.
So, if I call around and, 80% of the funds are already going for other projects, then whatever, I would just ask for whatever's left over.
I see. So
So
you kind of
you
work it out.
coordinate your requests.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Interesting.
Mhm.
So I just have a question, as usual, the $30,000 to $40,000 you said, is that the total amount of the grant, or is that what's typically left over?
That's what's typically left over, because what they do
Okay.
is, Bayfield bills all the townships for services that the library provided to their residents. They in turn pay Bayfield County that money, so they ask for 100% of the library usage. They in turn then take 70% of that to give it to all the libraries.
Yep.
And then the other 30%, whatever that 30% is, they offer it in this grant.
And the grant is specifically for facilities,
Good
For capital projects.
capital.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it will allow you, like the first time, like if they just newly opened a library and they have nothing, they will allow you to purchase materials for that, just on that one-time deal, just to kind of get you started. But after that, they really want it to be something tangible that, like a capital project or something that you wouldn't be able to purchase on your own without a lot of issue.
So this project really fits that.
It does, they are questioning the fact why we have another building all of a sudden, but it's, I say it's part of the library's property. It's now part of the property, so we are maintaining the library's property.
And
So,
library programming.
yes, and library programming.
No, it is literally part of the library.
Yeah, just to give you an idea, some of the things I've done in the past is we have the 3 laptops in the children's area attached to a big blue crayon. That was one of the things I'd asked for. And then we have the Tranquility Tunnel. That was another thing that we'd asked for. And then, of course, there's the fence, the roof, the electricity for that, so. And like I said, other Washburn, a lot of times they have to put their money towards elevator maintenance. And Bayfield has been in building maintenance, tuck pointing, and as well as working on those big columns up front, so.
And you can say, we're providing, we're flushing out our capacity to serve the constituents for the one of the most used libraries per capita in the state of Wisconsin.
That's just it.
That's something.
And the economic development policy wants to spread the broadband and services for tourism, so both of those could be covered under that realm.
That's great.
So, but yeah, so that's kind of what we're looking at doing, so. All right, that's what I will plan accordingly for the next thing.
Well, let's move on to the next one, and that is why don't we start with this working group that is the esteemed working group working on that carriage house.
Esteemed?
Yeah, esteemed, qualified, energetic, and nice.
She wants it to try.
I have some notes.
Yeah.
And this, they're just notes in sort of in the order we discussed them, but we talked about, and I don't always remember which group I talked to, so if I repeat myself, bear with me. The electrical meter has been installed, but despite us paying the power company, they haven't hooked us up yet.
Oh,
But they're promising to do that. They have to wait for an inspection apparently to make sure that everything is, they don't connect the power to something unsafe. So that's where we are. We had the offer of a sign from Tricia Talso, who was one of the Callahan family, who offered, she had some nice photos, which I don't have with me. But it would be a sign about 2 feet high that would extend across the front, it's not a proscenium, but the front of the building. Very nicely done. As a local person to do it, would cost $600 and some. The family would pay for it. And it would be installed. So we discussed whether that was a good idea or not, and said that it's a nice looking sign. We thought we would go ahead. It doesn't get in the way of any future use of the building. So we told her to go ahead with that. I hope we didn't overstep our authority. The statement of objectives revision is in progress. And we got some more text for that. Dick took some photographs of the building, which will be useful if we apply for a grant or getting it on the National Register.
I have it here, if anybody wants to take a look at it, because also in the statement of objectives, besides the photos, is the survey results.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, that we got from people, so it's really, Dick Raywalt did a really nice job with this, and Michael
Recent.
with the survey, and it's all been entered in here, and it's all
wow.
part of that whole thing, plus the operating organizational structure for the Evelyn Goldberg Briggs Memorial Library. And yeah, it just statement of objectives for construction and grounds improvement services in support of restoring, improving Heritage House physical plant and grounds.
This is quite
So
official.
that's what all of this is. And this introduction part is where I was talking about, if there wasn't already these things in there that I mentioned in the email, or, you know, to flesh that out a little more, based from Kelly Westland said to, you know, talk about the fact that this will be basically the understanding is that this would be the only public green space in the city, real green space in the city limits that people can enjoy. That's important for a lot of reasons in terms of hopefully getting money, earmarks or grants and things like that, so.
Right. And you mentioning that, I forgot to mention that Michael Dreesen has resigned from the working group because of his wife's unexpected death.
Yeah.
But Tricia Talso has joined, so our overall number has not changed. Parking improvements, Cassie has spoken to the town about getting additional parking by making Main Street from Mill Street up to that fence, angle parking.
Oh,
But that requires some planning and drawings and some expenses. And my idea was that we should just ask the town board to pay for that. Because they can probably work that into their street budget somehow, seems to me. But anyway, we should have that discussion.
And then I think there was something Cassie mentioned about, this would be something for either for the 27 or 28 budget, depending on the progress of things, but also that they would need, and then there would be a one-way in front of the library, right? One-way road going this way.
I think so, yes.
And that, but they would need the estimate, Jackie knows about this, they need the estimate from the library with measurements. I'm not quite sure what that was for. I don't know. I'm quite sure.
Well, part of the discussion was it would involve renovating that sidewalk, maybe making it narrower. And then the parking could extend a little bit further off the street. But she was going to talk to whoever,
Northwood paving.
Northwood Paving, to get some estimates to see how much it would cost.
And then I was gonna talk to my husband to make sure we get the setbacks correct for zoning purposes.
yeah.
Did we talk about this, do we say about the second story of the building not being open to the public? That's a.
Oh, that's, I've got that on here. Yeah, we can
Got that.
talk about that. That's, it had to do, I had to categorize it as, Americans with Disabilities Act. It would, we'll need a new walkway from whatever parking we have on Main Street to the building. And we decided that it was impractical to have the second floor as a public space. Just not safe.
And then you'd have
too
to
expensive.
elevators and, you know.
Yeah, so that was decided also. And then we talked quite a bit about funding, the building Better Libraries grant. Somebody suggested that we could request an earmark in the federal budget through Senator Baldwin's office. But that would be not until the federal 2028 budget. So that's kind of off in the future, but we did discuss that. And we discussed something called the Vibrant Spaces Grant, which is through the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation. And I'm not sure who administers that. But that is a source of grants for community projects. They have a whole list of criteria which actually fit our project pretty well. And that is being worked on by Dick and Carlin and Jackie. They're gathering the information needed to apply for that grant.
Yeah, I talked to the grant liaison for that, and he said the best fit for our project would be the public bathrooms.
Because the grants are typically for $25,000 to $50,000, I
Yeah.
think. And obviously we can't do the whole thing for that. So we have asked the foundation, somebody's going to be looking at the foundation and to break out an estimate that would include specific parts of the project, and we could use that to apply maybe for the grant. So that's in progress also. The Jan had talked to Craig Martinson to get an informal estimate. Did we talk about this last month?
Well, yeah, but I don't know what the estimate,
Well,
It wasn't an estimate, we just had him come.
yeah,
To look at the building and.
it was, I'm sorry, you're right. It was
Yeah.
an estimate, just to see what's the best way to do this?
Disabilities, yeah.
And you can say what I'm saying.
We did talk about
Yeah.
it last meeting, everybody's up to speed on that, but I think we were talking about Dick, at this last meeting yesterday, we were talking about Dick. Getting an estimate from the fellow in Poplar who handled like all the Ulu buildings and moving those
yeah.
buildings, like what. Get an estimate from him for moving the building, creating a foundation and moving the building, right?
I think it was mostly moving the buildings. It was a contractor. I don't know if he did the foundations or not, but I was pleased with the estimate or with what he got. He told.
you can go ahead and say, you're on this working group, you can.
Go ahead.
Well, one other thing is that was brought up about parking is the lot behind the carriage house.
Mhm.
That Cassie was saying there's a ditch, which is the culvert, but during the summer months or the 2 seasons that are not snow bound,
Snow piles, yeah.
that we could have a gravel parking space behind there, should we have events that, you know, would
Yes, good.
count on more parking.
Or more direct access into the building,
Mhm.
Yeah.
close to the building.
That's great, because then it's using.
But it would only be able to be seasonal, it would only be when there's snow.
Well, a lot of things are only seasonal around here,
Right.
that makes kind of good sense.
I'm still wondering though, you know, after we decide if the building is going to be moved,
Mhm.
if we don't need 2 sidewalks, kind of, one from this side going there and then one from the.
Yeah,
That'd be for the
yes, that's-
architect to figure
yeah.
out.
Right, somebody's familiar with the ADA requirements and, but getting back to moving the buildings, it turns out that this contractor moved the buildings for the Ulu Heritage Center. And some of those are considerably bigger than the carriage.
Yeah,
And
I've been in some of
he
those.
said that they paid either $3,000 for some buildings or $4,000 to
Ridiculous.
move the buildings, and they moved them quite a distance.
Yeah.
I would have thought way more than that.
About 30,000
I'm
or
very
something
surprised
like
at that.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
That's
Yeah.
what he was told. That's his name is Dwayne Lottie, I think, who is,
Well, Dwayne Lottie is in charge of the Ulu.
right, so he was telling Dick
Yeah.
what they charged him, so.
Yeah.
And the other thing was, moving the building. Did we talk last time about changing the orientation of the building as well, angling it? Okay, all right. That's it.
Wow,
Unless you
lots
guys-
happening.
Well, it's all
There's a
conceptual.
lot of conceptualizing and talking, and it'll start to manifest here sometime. But again, I think we're reminding ourselves that this is part of the strategic 3 to 5 year plan, not,
Right,
we don't have to get it all, it
Not-
might be happening in
Yeah.
26, 27.
Concerts,
You know, a step at a time, we're moving through what we can accomplish, so
If you,
temper our expectations
it might be
Timer.
interesting for the rest of you, also to look at the survey results, because they are very, very interesting. You know, the suggestions in that.
yeah.
yeah, could we get a copy of that?
I was gonna say, if you want, I can run and go get one.
I don't need it right now. You
Okay,
don't worry
after
about it
we
now.
get done here, I have a copy on my desk, I'll just make copies of it.
And Michael did such a good job on that survey.
He really did. That was his, that he was the one
I
that
was thinking
developed
we
that.
should send him.
I was thinking that
Something
You should, I know.
sympathy card or, and, you know, sort of a, or no.
I think
Working
it's
group, yeah.
appropriate,
Send something to him on behalf of the library.
I
or
agree. I
and the
agree.
working group,
Carriage House Working Group.
yeah. Wow. It just acknowledges that we really did appreciate his effort, and we understand that it's.
I agree.
Well, fine.
Yeah, I did
Do
respond,
something from
I
the
did
board.
respond by email, but it's not this, not quite the same.
Yeah. It'd be nice to send something to him,
List of what? What'd you say?
to send something
Okay, yep, I can do that.
to him.
Thank you, Jackie.
I'll get that, and then I can just make the rounds and get its
Yeah.
signature.
Yeah. Great, wow.
What about the other group? Have you slackers been up to?
So yes,
Nothing.
next Thursday. We started sketching out the plans for the. I guess for July 8th, to have the opportunity to talk about.
Oh, they have a July 11th.
Nice flyer.
11th for the open house.
Okay.
We'll be meeting next Thursday to flesh out plans for what exactly we're doing there. We've already even started talking about it, but we'll just flesh out the details and how to go about it. We'll put the, Abby did.
Yeah, she and Cam would get along really well. There's a whole lot of interesting stuff on that.
That's great.
So where are these going?
That's really nice.
We're gonna have those at the library and for people to pick up if they want to be a part of the open house and also see what kind of things that people can volunteer at for things here. I think I have a list on my desk of several people that have stopped in about volunteering, so I will make sure I contact each one of them.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, it's been, several years, but.
Yeah.
Do that too.
So has this been posted?
Not yet, but I wanted to have everyone approve it before.
Yes, I think it's good. And then has it been in the newsletter? Was,
I think she forgot to put it in the newsletter
yeah. I
for
don't-
June, but July is coming, so I'll make sure it gets in there.
It could go on the website. It could go on the website.
On the website also?
Yeah. We're on the website, on Facebook. I put posters around town too, maybe.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it is really good.
And we're also still looking for a volunteer coordinator. Who would just be sort of working with Jackie to
Yeah.
help somebody that would like to coordinate volunteers.
Okay.
As well. So if anybody knows anybody,
Well, maybe you'll get somebody, if you talk about it at this, and.
yeah, that's what
Yeah,
we're
talk it up,
hoping.
and maybe somebody will say, oh, I can maybe do that. Great.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Very good. Okay, excellent. So the next meeting, just as a reminder, is July 22nd. It's not our normal schedule of meetings, so just a reminder of that. 22nd is in here. If nothing else, could I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
We have a second from David. All those in favor of adjournment, say aye. Aye. Thanks. If I could have one public service announcement after the meeting, and that is if anybody knows anybody Friday or Saturday, a couple of kids or some people who want to volunteer to hide at the fairgrounds for like an hour or two. And it's very fun. You just go hide someplace, we'll hide you in a building or something. You can sit in a chair, have coffee, look at your phone or whatever, and have dogs find you. So there's about 10 canine teams from around